Rise Above Noise. Each week, I have the honor of shining a spotlight on somebody in the Rise Above Noise community who's making a real difference in helping others with their business growth. Let me introduce myself. I am Susan Finn. I'm a digital marketing strategist with Rise Above Noise, where for the past 15 years, I've been working with transformation creators, right? People who are making a real difference in the world, energy healers, light workers, coaches, creatives. I'm guiding them with their personal roadmap in their digital marketing journey. And together we create your own system for showing up in a way that feels generous and it feels in service, so that you show up with consistency, so that people who are already looking for you, who need you, can find you, and your business is going to grow with flow and with ease. When you do marketing, you reach people. So today, my guest is Susan Salzman, and she's been referred to as a business therapist, right? She's a combination of years of experience running multiple businesses, along with a keen ability to identify other people's natural strengths and talents. And that allows her to show up for her clients in her community and guide them to take those step-by-step actions that bring them closer to their own potential and their own possibilities. Her knowledge and support has been key in helping so many people move forward. So why don't we just get right to it? So as you guys know, Thursdays are the days I get to have my favorite activity. You know, in the work that I do, one of the things that I tell people all of the time is you have to find something that you love doing. And you have to find something that yes, you love it and it gives you joy, but that you will be consistent about. If you can find the one thing that can give you a weekly consistent content that fills you with joy, then your marketing is basically going to take care of itself. Because a lot of people have this feeling around marketing, and that's because they're pushing in a place that doesn't feel right to them. And so this, you guys, this Rise Above Noise Spotlight is my commitment to weekly content. It gives me joy. I get to have content for all of my platforms, and I get to talk with really cool people. So let me get started. But as I do, hold on, let me make this work over here, sharing a quick digital marketing tip, which I kind of already did, but let me do it this way again. Oh my goodness, the dog is going to push over the light. So the Rise Above Noise system. So the thing is, no matter what you're doing, you need to know where you're starting. And I know this is what we're going to talk about with Susan today. You have to know where you're starting.
It's all good.
You have to know where you're starting. You have to know where you're going. You have to know where your dog is at all times.
Yes, you do.
Okay. You have to know where you're starting. And so the Rise Above Noise 5 pillars, the 5 steps, gives you a GPS of where you're going in your digital marketing. Way too often, I saw this just the other day, way too often, people are just throwing their stuff around, and they're spending hours and hours and hours on things they think, right? They're very busy. They're doing the do, and they're on the socials, and they're doing their TikToks, and they're creating their things, but without having a full strategy of what that looks like. And I want to just take you through, if you haven't seen this before, let me share this with you. If you have seen it before, hang out with me for a minute. So core values and ideal clients, right? That's at the basis of everything. That's everything you say, every piece of content that you make, everything that you send out into the world has to be speaking to your ideal client, the problems that they're having and what the challenges are. But it's also got to be very, very cemented into what your core values are. And you have to know what your non-negotiables are, and you need to know what's your mission, where are you going? And it's going to evolve over time. I often say that digital marketing is a practice, much like my yoga, much like my meditation, much like artwork. You never get it exactly right. But when you are really clear on your core values and who it is that you want to make a change for and what the change is, everything else is going to be so much easier. So then you can go on and make your compelling content. Then you can be strategic about what you're sharing, who you're speaking to. And like I said, if you have a commitment to consistent, generous content, this part, although it will take some time, will be easy and joyful. And the same with sharing proof of concept. That would be sharing testimonials and case studies, and having chit chats with people who can give you that outlook on the changes that you've created for them, and sharing that widely and generously. Organizing and scheduling is going, I've said this before, our only true currency is our time and our energy. We can make money, but we need to be very strategic with how we use our time and our energy. And so when you're organized, when you're scheduling, when you're not paying attention to others and you're deeply rooted in your own zone of genius, and then you have ways to work that out. The email I was just writing this morning was about last week. I got thrown a monkey wrench and I had to be off the computer for 5 days, but my systems were still running. And I knew what I had to do, the bare minimum that I had to do to keep things running for the week. And it was fantastic. And all of this is so that you keep in touch, you keep in front of the people who are going to need you, so that you, my dear, can be of service. The people I work with, the people I love to work with, are transformation creators. And this is what they want to do. They want to do all the things so that they can be of service. And so today, now I'm going to stop sharing and escape from here. Today, when we talk with my friend Susan, I know that she works with business owners to help them pull together what feels like chaos. So I'm really excited to introduce you to Susan, and I'm going to go ahead and read her official bio. Give me 1 second to get that screen up. Okay, Susan Salzman. As a strategic business advisor, also known as a business therapist, she helps go-getters, thought leaders, and CEOs who are struggling professionally and personally create the life they want by using the skills, knowledge, and talents they already have so that they can plant a flag in their dreams. She has a 5-stage framework that helps people discover the missing pieces needed to uncover all their potential and their possibilities in achieving their vision in a utilitarian, practical, and creative way. I love that. Plant a flag in your dreams. I'm just going to let that sit there for a second. I love that. Susan, I asked her what her superpower is, and she said that she is an acute listener. I'd love to learn more about that, Susan, about everything, all the work you do, and about that superpower, about being an acute listener.
Well, I've always been into the details. I like the details of everything. As a child, I was entrepreneurial and found ways to take my passion and monetize it even back then. And then after college, I was in the corporate world, and I left that after 6 years and created a lifestyle brand that was originally created because I needed gifts for friends and I couldn't find what I was looking for. And I ended up spending 20 years in that career and built a multi-million-dollar lifestyle brand that, took me far and wide. And I wrote a book, and I was on Oprah, and I was in every magazine, and I was on all the magazine shows like Entertainment Tonight and Extra and Access Hollywood and all that stuff. And so for me, it's always been about the details, whether it's the thing or the color or the graphics or the typography. I pay attention to that stuff. And so as when I segued out of my business in 2008, I started a food blog because I love to cook. Cooking's my love language. Feeding others is my love language. And it was there that I really learned all these digital platforms. And because I was doing it quite well, people were coming to me and saying, how do you do that? And I would say, oh, step X, Y, Z. And they're like, do it this way. And they're like, no, let me pay you. So for 14 years, I've been consulting to entrepreneurs, CEOs, brand builders, business builders, small mom and pops, all that kind of thing, and helping them really find their voice. And so I feel like in order to help people and in order to give them what they need, you have to listen to the details.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. In a couple of weeks, actually, my friend Joanne O'Neill will be in this spotlight, and she's going to be talking about active listening. It's so important. Like, so many of us are listening to see what we're going to say next. And I think sometimes you have to listen to really just listen. In fact, when I have my discovery calls, I do them by phone instead of on Zoom. And that's because what I can do is I can close my eyes and really hear what the person is saying and really identify more than what the words they're saying, how they're saying it and what emotions are coming through. So I hear what you're saying. It's so important. Well, tell me more about what you're doing with you kind of went over it quickly, and wow, Oprah and work and all the work that you've done, right? We're all on such amazing journeys. Where are you now? What are you doing now? And how can people, what can you tell us?
Well, I like I said, I work with lots of different kinds of people, mostly women, generally a lot of Gen X's and baby boomers, but I've actually penetrated the Gen Z market with one of my programs, which is part of my 5-stage framework. You mentioned my 5-stage framework. Mm-hmm. And I work privately, I work in groups, and I have some digital products. So privately, a one-to-one is, I take them through my systems, my strategy, and my structure to help them build their roadmap. I do that in a group setting as well. I love the groups. I also have a program called Tech Talk 101, which is for a lot of women our age. They don't know even how to access a Google Doc or even get on Zoom. And so I developed Tech Talk 101, and it's a monthly, for lack of a better word, membership. I hate the word membership, but it's like if they pay monthly and we meet 3 times a month, and it's a really fun group. And I have I would say a digital course library to help support them. And it's like I said, it's a really amazing, fun group of women. And then I'm launching a new program in August, which is also part of my 5-stage framework, but I've kind of repurposed it and broken it up, and I'm not ready to announce that yet.
Okay. So I know that when you're working with people, you're helping them to kind of figure out their potential, right, for their further growth and development. And they're coming to you because they feel stuck or they feel confused, and you're going to be a guide for them. How do you do that?
Well, first and foremost, I kind of, like I said, I listen and I get under the hood. So I think that women our age are really one of the most valuable and untapped demographic out there. And I feel like a lot of women who are coming to me either were serial career, opportunists, want to get out of it, but aren't ready to retire. Most of the people I'm working with are creatives, visionaries, professionals, entrepreneurs, just chefs, writers, artists, lawyers, right? You know, all different kinds of people. And they come to me because they know they want something more and they know they're not done. So I really help them dig a little deep and really dig out some of those things inside of them that they're already good at, but they didn't realize that they're good at. So I have a client who recently got divorced, and she was a stay-at-home mom, and she also loves cooking, and she is starting a little food business. And with my help, I'm helping her kind of with the step-by-step of that and what that could look like and how to kind of do it right, especially in this age of, you know, digital media that we're all been thrown into, right? It's like we can do so much more today. Look at us. You're in the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, we're on Zoom, we're sharing ideas, and we're inspiring not only ourselves, but other people. So there's so many ways for us to share our gifts. And it doesn't always necessarily have to be a product, but, you know, I do have product-based clients, and I have what I call 2D based clients, which are, digital based clients. I call my product people 3D. So my digital people are 2D and my product people are 3D. But I also have a children's book author right now who has published 7 books, and she has a couple more on the horizon. So I'm helping her craft that narrative of how she's going to reach out to potentially connect with new publishers and new agents and all that kind of thing. And also, because she was in advertising and copywriting before, I said to her one day, I'm like, you can monetize the gifts you already have. Like, there's other people who want to write children's books, and there's other people who need copywriting services. So we're developing a digital course for her.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, digital courses I know are very, very popular. And the thing is that they work, right? It's really, really good. It's great to have that. And there's so many other things that you can do. Once you make a course, then you can have, you know, different webinars and so many different parts of the product once you realize that there's a market for what you have. In the groups that I'm in where there are course creators, gosh, there's just everything. Teaching Greek language, teaching Greek cooking, ukulele. Like, yeah, there's so many things you don't even realize. We're sitting home, you know, we don't realize that what we know, not everybody knows.
Right. And also, I also think because it has somewhat exploded in the past couple of years, I think I have a blog post on my old website. I got to put it on my new website called, you know, The Digital Con is Real, because I think that there's a lot of people who are pushing and selling, but they're not really qualified or authentic or trustworthy. So I think you have to really, I always tell my clients to listen to listen to their gut, don't talk to their gut. Right. And I think that you just have to really pay attention to those feelings and that kind of thing when you come across, because, you know, everybody's trying to sell you something or hustle you something. And I think one of the biggest obstacles I see with the people that I've worked with over the years is that as a solopreneur, as an entrepreneur, we don't get the validation, or we're missing the water cooler moments, right? Where we can connect and have those moments with people where we can say, what do you think of this, that, and the other? And how I always start my clients off is with something I call the 360 POV, which is basically it's a performance review, like something you would have in your corporate world, but it's a tad more creative. And it's really looking at the past and then the future and then the present. And why I have them look at the past first is I think because I think as a society are way more focused on the negative and what we didn't do. And in doing that exercise, 99% of the time, people are like, oh my God, I did accomplish stuff last year. Like, this is amazing. And so that feeds their momentum, and it feeds them to propel to want to go forward, because again, what we're all doing as entrepreneurs and solopreneurs can be very, very lonely. And that's a lot of the reason why I started the groups, because for two reasons. One, I have only so much bandwidth. I can only accommodate so many private clients in a week. And it can get expensive and pricey. And I found a way to service more people and be with more people in a group setting, and everybody really inspires each other. So they become learning and teaching moments.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when we learn together and we support each other, I mean, I always forget how long, probably 20 years ago, I started the Women's Business Network of Southeastern Massachusetts. And just because I needed people to talk to about business, and it grew and it grew. And what I realized was that in that setting, when you create a container of support and we tie our boats together and we support each other in a non-competition way, gosh, we're amazing. And in particular, we as women are amazing because we just have, and I know I'm being very stereotypical, but I believe that we are natural sharers and we naturally want to help each other. And I think that makes all the difference. And especially, like you said, when you're a solopreneur and you're sitting in your room, your office, you need somebody to bounce ideas off of and to give you support, yes, but brutally honest feedback, I think, is so valuable.
Yeah, I would not be where I am without the women around me, and particularly my clients. They teach me every day. They show me not only what they need, but how I need to serve them. And so I'm grateful. I really love what I do. I definitely have my moments, and I I had a client text me the other day saying she wasn't going to show up for a meeting because she was just feeling yucky and blue. And I said, you're not alone, like go and nurture yourself, and create that space. So I don't know. I just think life is hard. And especially with what happened this week and what's happening all around us, I have to shut that stuff out because it will really paralyze me.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Fortunately, in South Coast, Massachusetts, it is perfect gardening weather. And so I shut it all off and I go out with the puppy and I get to go out to the garden and try to shut that off for a while. And on the other hand, also fired up in my head. And what can we do? We can't sit back and all be in our gardens, right? So that's a discussion for a whole nother time.
Yep.
But it also speaks to the self-care part that you had alluded to, that you probably support your clients with, like you just said, that when you need your care, you need your care. But when it's time to work, get your butt in the chair and work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some days are more productive than others, and you just have to, give yourself some grace.
I agree. And that's why in the work that I do with people, helping them set up their digital marketing systems, and as I mentioned earlier, having a way to do that with ease and joy and flow, that's the gift that I bring, right? So that you can step away for a little bit, or that you can dig in a little bit. Sometimes, for the energy healers that I work with, and they have so much to share, that sometimes when they put their head down into it and they're creating something, whether it's a video or a meditation series or a really great blog post, that helps them to clarify not their worth. I don't mean their worth, but what they're here for, their purpose.
Yeah.
And in doing so, right, when they spend that time sharing what they have, it makes them feel stronger. And especially if they have that system set up to make it easy without the chaos and that like energy suck that can be the social media world, it makes it a lot more pleasant.
Yep.
It's good stuff. Susan, what
Yeah.
else can people know about you? What do you have going on? How can people check you out, get involved with you?
Well, my website is my name. So it's Susan Salzman, no T.com. And I have the free resource, which is the POV, which is the 360 POV, which is a, you know, a self-validated performance review for uh, entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and whoever wants it. And I have Tech Talk, which is a monthly, it's not on my website yet. Or maybe I did put it on my website under my a la carte. It's under my Work With Me page.
Oh, okay.
So Tech Talk is, again, really fun. And we meet 3 times a month. And if they opt into my POV, they'll be on my list and they'll be updated on programs and groups and all that kind of stuff. I'm speaking to a big group of realtors next month to introduce the What's Next roadmap. So I'll probably keep that to the realtors, but I may launch it again in September or something like that. But
fabulous. Yeah. So you've got lots going on, lots of places where people can learn more about you.
And I have a podcast called the Power of the Pivot podcast.
Oh, I'll have to get that.
And I took a little break. I had some health issues, so I took a little break, and I'm relaunching that at the end of June. And it's going to be a little bit of a different format, so I'm excited about that. So that's on it's on everything: Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. So that's a fun place because I interview, women who have pivoted and who have, redirected themselves and have found their joy.
Awesome. I'm looking that up to make sure that we can share.
Okay.
Power of the Pivot. I got it right here. I'm going to be able to share it in our group. So much good stuff. Susan, thank you so much.
Thank you
for spending your early part of your morning with us.
I really appreciate your generosity and bringing me on to chit chat and talk about all good things.
It's good. And it is good stuff. I'm just going to quickly check the Facebook chat, see if we have any questions. It's all good. We're great to go. Susan, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this week's Rise Above Noise Spotlight. Susan Salzman wants more of us to find ways to share our gifts, especially these days. And you know what? Sometimes we just need that guidance, like a roadmap that's going to help us get into momentum. Susan knows that so often we feel like we want something more, that we can be doing more. And she's the one that's here to help us dig deep and figure out what we're good at, but we might not even realize it. You can see our Rise Above Noise community is revolutionizing how service professionals show up in the world, in our marketing, to make a real difference in the world. And now, more than ever, our world needs you. We need our transformation creators to be successful in what it is that you're doing, to show up in service and make that real difference in the world. Thank you for joining today, and I look forward to sharing the next Rise Above Noise Spotlight with you.